Hi stamping friends, this is Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, July 2nd. It's almost the 4th of July. I hope you're having a great week. It might be a short week for some of you if you have vacation this week. So thank you for joining me. If you're joining me live, if you're able to join on replay, that's awesome too. So I have got a really fun card to share with you tonight. And before I get started, I did want to mention a couple things. We had an exciting weekend as my daughter Lindsay got engaged to Chris over the weekend. So we're really super excited about that. Some great news there. And we've been celebrating and can't wait to see them in a couple weeks to celebrate some more. So, hey Pam, thanks for joining. And the other thing I wanted to mention, and I've mentioned this a few times on my Facebook page, but I'm having this Let's Eradicate Loneliness one card at a time. It's something that our CEO of Stampin' Up! Is really passionate about, and that is eradicating loneliness and how a simple card can help someone feel loved, and that is something that I want to spread too. So I've created this July challenge, and I'm trying to get 50 people to sign up. I've already got 49, so I'd even like to increase that if possible. But if everyone committed to sending, say, 3 cards a week, or 15 total cards in July, so there's about 5 weeks, a little bit less than that in July, that's like 750 cards. Think of how many lives could be touched. So there are no strings attached. This is just a voluntary thing. I have a Facebook group for anyone who would like to be part of that, and I would love it if you joined. It's, again, no strings attached. Anyone who signs up and does it and lets me know that they're participating, I will be drawing 3 names at the end of the month to win some product from me. So again, no strings attached. It's just being kind and spreading kindness, because I think we could all use a little bit more of that right now. So anyway, hope you'll consider that, and I'm going to turn my camera over and we'll get started on tonight's card. All right. Hi everyone. Hi Felicia and Donna and Sheila. Awesome seeing all of you here. So thank you for joining me tonight. So I am going to show you the masking technique. You might have seen this before, but I wanted to share a new suite, the Lovely Garden suite. I actually used some of the parts of this last week, but we'll be using tonight the Thankful Garden bundle. So there's this great stamp set and dies, and then there's also masks that come with it. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight, just to show you. You might have seen those in the catalog or online, but maybe haven't used them. So I wanted to show you how simple they are to use. So those are the stamps and dies that we're using this evening. And this is the card we're making. So if you know me, you know I love hydrangeas. I always have, and my hydrangea bushes right now are in full bloom. They're beautiful. I love it. And I don't have any blue ones, but those have always been my favorite. I've got some big white ones in my front yard. So this is the card we're making, and we'll get started, and I'll show you how simple it is to use masking. So I will set that aside, and just to kind of familiarize you with how the masks come. So typically with Stampin' Up, there's about 5 of them in a set. And the really cool thing about them is that there's a notch, if you can see that, that really helps line them up, and they're numbered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that way you can do it sequentially, and you can build your color, and it just does it automatically for you. So it's really, really a fun technique to try. So the first thing we'll do is I've got some white cardstock here, and I've got the big hydrangea stamp from that set. Photopolymer, so it might be hard to see. And actually with a bigger stamp, sometimes it's better just to ink it from above. I think you get better coverage that way. So we'll stamp my hydrangea on a piece of white cardstock, and then we'll do the fun part of coloring it in. So the way it works with the masks is, as I mentioned, they have notches and they're numbered. I'm going to put a piece of scratch paper underneath here, and I'll show you why. Hopefully you can see that. So I've made a little notch here, and that's going to help me line up my masks, just like that. So the first step then will be to get my paper in position. So I'm gonna try to line this up with my mask, my stamped image, and then line it up again with that notch. So I've got washi tape here that will help hold it in place. You could use painter's tape or something like that, just something that doesn't stick permanently. So that's what I'm using to secure that. Then next I'm going to use our blending brushes, and we have the big ones and the smaller ones. I've got an assortment here tonight. I try to use like the same color family for my brushes. So I've got blues in one, greens in one, pinks and so forth. That way it just kind of helps them stay clean. So I'm gonna be using the Balmy Blue, and I'm just tapping it in my ink pad. And then really the secret is to kind of tap off, and then you just start going in a circular motion. And you remember you're going light to dark. And this first layer that I'm doing, it's going to be on the lighter side. So you can see I'm just kind of filling it in light blue in a circular motion. So I think that's enough ink. So the first one is done, and see how it colors it in so evenly and simply. So then next, I'll take the number 2 and I'll line it up again. I've got my notch here and my washi tape. And there are 3 different masks to create this hydrangea here, but I'm gonna use 2 different blues. So I use the Balmy Blue for the first layer, and I'm using it again for the second layer, and I'll just put it on a little bit heavier. So you can see how you can build dimension and different tonality, even using just 1 or 2 ink pads, because you're essentially just kind of layering the color on there. So I've created my second mask of color, and then when I feel like I've gotten enough, I'll just lift it up, and then I've got layer number 2 finished. So then for the final layer, I'm going to actually line it up again, and for this one, I'm going to use the Blueberry Bushel. So this is a little bit more vibrant blue. So again, you can always go darker, can't really go lighter. So we won't get too crazy. I got a little crazy there. So there might be some dark blue. All right, I think that's probably good enough. So I'll lift that one up, and then you can see, look at your beautiful hydrangea. And how simple was that to color in with these blending brushes. All right, so the next 2 masks, because there's a total of 5, as I mentioned, these will focus on the leaf. So again, we'll line up our notches there. And for the leaf, I'm gonna use Granny Apple Green for the lighter portion. And you can get as dark or leave it as light as you want. I feel like that's probably a good base. I'll pull that up. See how it's all colored in? You couldn't marker it that well, could you? Then for the last mask, line it up here, and I'm gonna use Garden Green, so a little bit darker. And we'll just color in those highlights with the Garden Green. All right, and ta-da! Isn't that so pretty and colorful? I slipped it a little bit, but I'm gonna be cutting it out with the die cut, so you'll never even know. So this set has some great die cuts. A lot of them coordinate with the stamps, but then there's some additional ones like the leaves and so forth. But for this one, this die here lines up nicely with this image here. So I can run this through my embossing die cut machine, and you'll end up with an image, a cutout image like that. So I'll set my messy stuff aside, and I've got my hydrangea, and now I'm ready to build my card. So to build this card, it's kind of a fun fold in that you've got this exposed area to the right. So this is a half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, squirted in the middle, and then I cut 1 inch off this front portion of the card, okay? So that's what's giving that exposed area there. So this is Azure Afternoon cardstock. And then I've got 2 pieces of white. These are 3 by 5 1/4. I've got some designer series paper, and this is from that same Thankful Garden or the Lovely Garden suite. And the cool thing about this designer series paper is that there's a lot of floral patterns, but on the other side are a lot of black and white patterns. So I really like that because you can really change up your card. And I personally love how black and white looks with any bright color. Michelle, I agree with you. It is so fast to do this versus hand coloring, and a little more accurate, at least with my coloring. So these are the pieces I'm gonna need. This one's 3 by 2 1/2. This one is 1 inch by 5 1/4. And then I've just got a little strip of black cardstock. So those are all the supplies that you'll need for this card. I'm gonna go ahead and just adhere the strip of designer series paper to the right of the inside of my card. And that's just a nice little accent piece there. And then for the front part of the card, I'll take my white piece and I'm gonna adhere some of the designer series paper. This is the black and white, right to the, directly onto that piece there. And then I didn't have any black ribbon that I thought would look good here. So I actually fudged this and I cut a strip. It's about a 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And it's just cardstock. And I ran it through the embossing folder with the corrugated embossing folder. But it gives you some great texture and it makes a nice backdrop for a card. So, you know, if you don't have ribbon, you can do that as an alternative. So then that piece will go right on top of my card front here. So we'll adhere that just like that. And then for the focal point of our card, we've got our hydrangea. And I'm gonna use probably 3 or 4 Stampin' Dimensionals just to make sure it's a bigger piece. So that way we'll make sure we get it on there real good. So I'll position it however I want there. And then for the inside, because this is a little bit darker piece, I also have a white piece cut for that. And I'm gonna stamp from that same stamp set. Whoopsie, I made that green, which I actually wanted it to be black. So there you go, pay attention. I'm notorious for doing that. Thankful for you, friend. And then we'll put that right inside our card. So you can see how simple of a card this really is. Honestly, there isn't a whole lot to it. Really, the coloring is probably the most time-intensive part. And then just to finish it off, I have this checked black and white ribbon, which I love. I thought that would be a nice accent, and I'll tack that on with a little mini glue dot. And then our final embellishment, I love to use rhinestones, and it's even more fun when you have the right color. And you might know this trick, but if you use a Stampin' Blend marker, these are alcohol-based markers, and color them, you can make your rhinestone any color. You might need a second to dry, so these may not quite be dry, but we're gonna go ahead and put them on our card. But so you can see on my little rhinestone pack here, I've got different colors that I've tried, some pinks and dark blues and things. So it really does give you a rhinestone of any color. So you can see the blue, how it pops. So that is tonight's card, and that came together very quickly. I did want to show you, and I wanted your opinion, so I made the blue one, but I also made the same exact card using purples and pinks. So which one do you like better? I was really torn. I thought, which one should I demonstrate? I really love the pink, but I do love blue hydrangeas. When I see those in the store, I always pick them up because I love them. So let me know which one you like. Thanks, Sheila. So that is our card tonight, and I wanted to also show you my inspiration for even actually purchasing this bundle We had a card swap, our team did, and this was a demonstrator, Becky's card, and we made this, and I really liked how it came together because it's so easy to color in with those blends. So that was my inspiration. And then a couple weeks ago, I showed this card, the Twisted Gatefold. This is using that same designer series paper. So that's actually from the same pack. And then another one of the stamps in this hydrangea set that I just colored with marker. So, and then last but not least, last week we made this card. Donna, I can't choose. I know, I love them all too. And I'm gonna draw for the winner. If you remember this card with a fun fold, and it has a really cool opening there. So I'm gonna draw. Anyone who shares my videos or comments on them each week, you're eligible to win the cards that I make every week. I guess they're not always cards, but projects. How about that? So this is the card we'll draw for from last week, and everyone who commented on and shared is in this drawing, and this one goes to Felicia. So Felicia, I will mail this card to you. I need to get your address. But thank you for watching and commenting on and sharing. I really appreciate you spending your time with me and, you know, sharing the creativity. And it's been so fun getting to know a lot of you through stamping and through the videos and everything. So thanks. And again, reminder that if you're interested in joining my little July challenge of eradicating loneliness simply by mailing cards, I would love to have you. Just shoot me a message. I'll add you to my Facebook group. Again, this is not, no one is keeping track. This is just something you're wanting to do to spread kindness. And I would love it if we could just make it bigger and bigger. So thank you again. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.